So there you go. Jennifer Lynn, a UK election observer, speaking about security during this election as well. As I was going to say, Dr. Austin Tam-George joins us now. He's the Director, Institute of Communication Studies here in Lagos. Thank you for coming on this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Well, as it is now, the chairman of INEC will be addressing the press very soon. But we know you'll have a man there, Lionel Lasisi, who, yes, he knows he's got his job cut out for him. So he's going to keep vigil if need be to get you all the latest concerning this election. So whenever that briefing happens, we will bring it to you live. Well, let's get to focus back here, our continuing coverage of this elections, Nigeria 2015. Gentlemen, again, thank you all for coming today. Well, just as we await that briefing from the chairman of INEC, let me start with you, Dr. Austin Tam-George. Speaking about Port Harcourt, our correspondent, Emmanuel Irigi, now that's a very disturbing signal that people see that they thought that by now they just will wait upon the commission, having done the elections yesterday, wait on INEC, let the results happen, because we've all been speaking about the peace accords that were signed,
yes,
how the country needs to ensure there's peace before, during, and ultimately after the elections. Yeah. But that signal that we see there, disturbing signals.
Yeah, it's very disturbing indeed. In fact, what we have seen shows the extent of desperation of politicians, if you like. What we've seen in the media so far suggests to me that we still have a lot of work to do concerning toning down the level of desperation of our politicians. What we've seen in the media suggests that, Governor Amaechi went to his ward or his polling unit to vote, and he requested to see, from what we understood in the media, represented in the media, he suggested to see the result sheets. And what INEC officials normally encourage voters to do is to go, identify themselves, get accredited, and then cast their vote. You don't ask for specific sensitive materials from INEC officials.
Could this be the root of the agitations we're seeing now?
What we've seen, we don't have all the details yet, but what is crystallizing in the media is that the governor specifically requested to see certain sensitive materials. That is not the work of voters. What a voter should do at a polling station is to ask to be accredited. And once you've been accredited, you wait and cast your vote. And once you've waited to cast your vote, you could decide to either go home or wait for the results to be announced. So when you begin to ask specific questions about sensitive materials in the custody of INEC, then you set the stage for all kinds of dissension. So what I will suggest going forward, especially since we still have elections ahead, is voters should act responsibly no matter their position in society. You go there, you request to be accredited, you present your details, your biometric details are captured by the machine, or you are manually accredited. After that, you remain to cast your vote. If you do not want to wait until the results are announced, you could go home. But if you want to wait until such a time when the results are announced, you stay. But I don't think it is the position of voters, whether they are governors or ordinary citizens, to be asking specifically for certain sensitive materials from
Dr. You are the politician.
Yeah.
You are the politician. What language is this all about? Is he speaking a language you understand? Did he speak a language? Did he speak a language that you understand? Talking about the River State government.
You see, this is to be seen from the perspective of the mutual suspicion of the topmost contending parties in the pursuit of this prized political position. No way to convince the other that the other one who has not been talking or doing anything is not up to something. So any step is marked with suspicion, and it must be addressed or redressed as the case may be. Speaking from the point of view of the law, I think I would align myself, even though I understand where the governor was coming from. His demand for that is like you come to a restaurant, you say, if I don't see a plate, I will not order for my food. There is a presumption in favor of the restaurant that for them to have offered to give food to people at a price, they would have provided for all the necessaries, cutleries and plates. especially as the governor did not make that statement out of his own knowledge. It was hearsay that a youth corper had said. Did he say it to him, or was it a discussion between the youth corper and another electoral officer of something that had happened earlier in the day? These are issues. So I think the governor may have jumped the gun. But like I said, I understand where he's coming from. But having understood that, it may not be acceptable under the law to have made that demand, no matter his position. Because, just 1 second, because the Electoral Act gives room for this gap. It is not good.
Which of the gaps?
That you go for accreditation, then you go home, sleep, cook, and come back to vote. What type of nonsense is that supposed to be? If it took 2 minutes to do the accreditation, it would have probably taken 1 minute to do the voting immediately. And we would have saved ourselves all the unnecessary time wasted. And perhaps this is the main reason why it gives room for mutual suspicion. However, if anybody trusted INEC in all the posturing that it has made, okay, in trying to take care of some of these issues, it is not to be canvassed that having been accredited, that somebody was likely to vote for you. Because there were cases of those who did the accreditation that could not meet up for the voting. There will be evidence that they didn't vote.
If you say that you should have the process, as you just explained, just accredit yourself, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Do you think it's going to work? Because there's just a lot of people, and then
what does it take?
It could get clumsy.
Yes, you're right. You see, the president went to his polling unit in Bayelsa State. His biometric details were not captured by several machines. He did not ask for sensitive materials to be tendered to him before he cast his vote. Muhammad Buhari, we all saw him go to Daura. He was accredited. He never requested to see every sensitive material in the custody of the INEC personnel before he cast his vote. In all the 36 states, apart from Rivers State, we never saw a situation where voters requested for each and every sensitive material to be presented to them before they submitted themselves for accreditation.
He's the lawyer.
So I think, I'm suggesting.
Did he do something wrong?
You know, I'm suggesting that.
Did he do something wrong? Did Governor Amaechi do something wrong?
I was going to take us into the realm of the law by saying that if you look at the electoral guidelines, it states the hierarchy of officials at the polling units, and it states the line of complaints. So if you come to the polling unit, and Governor Amaechi is supposed to be a voter, basically is supposed to submit himself for the process. There's no doubt about that. So if in his position as the chief executive, he shows some concern, I think that should have been addressed to INEC officials who were there at the polling unit. And the fact of the matter is that it didn't end there. There were security operatives that came to verify what was his role. But I think the protest goes beyond that. The protest is more in line with what my learned friend has said to be like a pattern. That, okay, in several polling stations or polling units, there are no result sheets. So what happens if I get accredited and then the result sheet doesn't use the biometric again? You just go, get the thing, you fill the form, and you...
No, but INEC has said that the essence of this is that, yes, you've got the card readers, and so when it checks, you're accredited, so it's the same figure of those who were accredited. There will be the same number of ballots cast.
No, the point I'm making is different from that. That if we accredit, then you have a number of those accredited.
Yeah.
But the number of those who vote is presumed to derive from those who are accredited.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the result sheet and I get accredited, how do I ensure that those who are going to be stated as those that voted are exactly those who are accredited? And that's the gap that has brought about this protest. That if you don't have the result sheet, I get accredited, what stops you from producing thumb-printed papers that shows that there's been voting in that place, when in actual fact, it's not the people who got accredited.
Okay,
and that was what the governor probably was raising, that before we go on to this accreditation process, why don't you have the result sheet that will show that, look, this accreditation will lead to, you know, the counting of the voters who actually got accredited. But be that as it may, I don't think it lies in the hands of government officials to interject themselves into the election process in order to escalate, you know, complaints.
Okay.
I think that has to be said.